everybody, welcome back to the channel. There's a lot to unpack here. Okay, this is pretty much the final stages of this harness, the actual building of it. The only thing that I have left to do is the cam and crank. So what I'm going to end up doing is I have my spare bullet downstairs in the basement that I am going to mock this thing up with, just because it is a shielded wire. You can't cut and splice this thing multiple times, so I'm going to actually put this on the spare motor, mock up the lengths correctly, and then finally put the ends on it with the loom and the heat shrink. But I've already heat shrinked the rest of the harness. As you can see, everything is in banks. Here's the coils, 2, 4, and 6. These ones over here are the other ones, 1, 3, and 5. All of the sensors that go on the engine. And over here, where I said I was going to get these things sonic welded, well, you saw how that was done. And this one here is for the injector. So this one's going to go, both injectors are teed into one, which is a 10 gauge wire, all loomed and heat shrinked and laser engraved. So this is going to be going to the relay that's going to be on the fender, because I am turning this into like a hot wire kit. Same was also done for the coil. So this is the positive side of the coil, and this one is the negative side of the coil. So this one will be grounded to the battery, and this one is going to be powered also by the hot wire kit. So this is going to be going to the side of the fender where I showed you that fused relay that's going to be sitting on the side there. So this is pretty much it. And each one of these from the harness has to be grounded to the back of the cylinder head. So this one is going to be for 1, 3, and 5, and this one is going to be for 2, 4, and 6. So it has to be grounded on the back of the head. So what I'm going to be doing is taking this downstairs, doing the final mock-ups, finishing this off, looming it, and then that's the last you're going to see of this. Then it's time to get to the install. Got a couple packages in the mail this week. This is from Cruise Performance. I got the cam sync, anodized black. This I'll be mocking up on the motor to determine the correct length for the cam and the crank. Here's the one for the crank. And the crank pulley for an ATI balancer. And the wires that have to be cut to length once I mount the smart coils in place wherever I choose to put that. And that's the bag for it there. So slowly but surely, I'm slowly gathering all my pieces together to get this project on the road. I want to have this in the car within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, shout out to Mo. Appreciate the packaging on the items, well packed. Very nice. Let's show you number 2. Here's number 2. Number 2 I got from Summit Racing. This is the input-output module. Very small little box that'll be under the dashboard. This will be signaling the second pump, my fan, and all my transducers. That's going to monitor oil. It's going to monitor fuel. It's going to monitor my alky pressure. So I got a bunch of things that are going to be tied in with this thing. So this is imperative because I have the HP, not a Dominator. And that's number 2. That's out of the way. Number 3. And here's number 3 from Casper's Electronics. I got some battery terminals. Mine I've made my own by myself, and kind of suck. I got this for BART, and I realized that the overall voltage of the car improves significantly. So what happens to one happens to the other. Here's the positive and negative terminals from Casper's Electronics, sorry. There you go. So I'm going to put this on the car, hopefully next week, and get this whole thing lined out and ready to go. And the last item I got, although it's not for this Holley harness, it's for the Ford 9-inch rear end. That's going to be going in. I got this from Quick Performance for the Willwood brakes. This is the braided brake lines that'll be going on the housing, and an e-brake kit that's going to be going from the back of the car all the way to the pedal inside the car. So yeah, we're steadily moving. But let's get back to this paid program, and let's get downstairs, put this harness on the engine, and see what we're doing with the lengths. All right, now that I got the harness mounted on the engine, I can see my lengths for my injectors are in the right spot. This being the passenger side, 2, 4, and 6. That's the way I route it underneath the fuel rail. This one comes out for the TPS. This one's coming out for the IAC. So they will both go up there. This one is coolant temp, which will be right here. And this one is going to be for the cam sensor, which is right here. So I'm going to give it some more slack, and I'm going to cut it right here. That's for the cam. For the crank, give myself some slack in this one. I taped it off, so I'm going to cut it right here. And that's going to be for the crank. Taking a look at the driver's side. Got the correct lengths here as well. 1, 3, and 5. We go to the back, where 1, 3, and 5 for the smart coils will be here. Just got to find some way of mounting it. And over on this side, 2, 4, and 6 is here. All the other sensors, as you can see, go under the intake. Everything is routed under there. I don't have any sensors on this engine. This is going to the bulkhead. And this one right here is the ground that will be going to the back of the head on this side. And this one will be going to the ground on the back of the head on this side, the passenger side. So I think I nailed all these lengths. Everything looks good. I don't see anything that is tight. Everything's got slack all the way around it. Not bad. So now I'm just going to finish off doing these two, looming it, heat shrinking it, and then that's the end of the harness. The harness is now complete. Got to start getting this in the car. Pull the old system out. Yeah, I like the way that's run. Everything is nice. It's always good to have a spare bullet. Let's go. Okay, now we're on to the stretch. This is the last little bit of it. Now that I saw that this engine harness fits on the motor really nicely, I don't have to find out any problems by mounting it on the car, having the engine already here. So I have already marked the lengths on the engine with this. And because both of them are the same, and they have the same color wires in the inside, a purple, a red, and a black, I taped this one off because I had to go to the schematic and A30 is the crank, and A22 is the cam. So I had to go back to using the meter, clicking one on one end. That's over here by the end of the wire, and then going to the other side that sits inside the car where the ECU is, and get that beep so I know that I'm messing with the right one and I don't put the cam connector on the crank, and vice versa. And these are the connectors that I had laser engraved. I will show you that after this. And that's for the crank. Here's my pins. Here's my loom. Let's get this one going. Stick a fork in this one. We're almost done. Alright, now that I got these things soldered on here, got to go back to my sheet, seeing as how this is the cam. So A, B, and C, 10 volt ground and signal. And you can see on here the A, B, and C. Red is A, the black is B for the ground, and the purple is C. Where is it? There it is. Purple is always the signal on the shielded wire. Ground is always black, and the hot is always red. So that's how I do this one. And the same goes with the crank. As you can see, the crank is there. A, B, and C. And because these are pull to seat, you have to crimp them, solder them, and then pull them back into the seat. And then I'm done. And just like that, my harness is finished. Complete. Loomed, heat shrinked, all the way to the bulkhead connector. Very nice. Now I'll show you how I laser engrave these things. Man, does this ever look nice. Very excited to put this in the car after mounting it on the engine downstairs. Everything seems to fit nice. The lengths are all good. All right, let me show you the laser engraving. And then we'll wrap it up. Next stop, putting it in the car. That's big. Too big? Are you ready? Okay. That's it? Yeah, see her? Is that smooth or what?